Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we discuss day-to-day problems people face in their lives. Let's start with the video. It's been about 6 months since I, 16 male, had to move in with my dad, 47 male, and his family after my mom died, and I still feel like his wife and my half-siblings despise me just for being there. The issue of mom's pictures getting destroyed turned what was already a crappy situation into something that is just killing me. I ended up sleeping on the couch for almost 2 months because I couldn't stand the sight of my half-brother, male 18, after what he did to my stuff, and started carrying a backpack around the house with anything personal that I had brought from my mom's apartment wherever I went so nothing else could be damaged. M ended up apologizing to me, but it seemed more of a show for my dad than an actual apology. My dad's wife S, 48 female, and my half-sister A, now 15 female, still barely acknowledge me and still almost exclusively use French in the house, which I'm only now starting to pick up words and conversations for. I've always felt like a stranger in this house, and while I understand why they don't want me around, I don't know what I can do to try and make things work. The worst of it came 3 weeks ago when I lost my keys to the house and got stuck out in the rain after I came home. I tried calling my dad, but he didn't pick up, and I rang the doorbell as many times as I could because I saw S's car outside the house, so I knew she was home. There isn't much close by us, so I couldn't walk anywhere to wait. By the time my dad got home an hour and a half later, I was soaked and cold, and when we got inside, S just said that she was on a call and couldn't hear the doorbell ringing. I couldn't even talk to her and just went upstairs and cried in the bathroom before going to bed. My dad apologized later for not seeing my message sooner, but that's not really the issue here. I feel sick living here and can barely eat or sleep half the time. My grades are tanking and I don't feel like I can talk to anyone. I miss my mom and everyone is pretending like she never existed, and I basically have to do the same thing so nobody at home gets mad at me. The main issue is, a week ago my dad's best friend and his husband, who I've met a couple times and stayed with the first couple nights after I reconnected with my dad while he was trying to figure out how to bring me home, heard about me being locked out of the house and asked if I wanted to come stay with them for a while. I wanted to say yes so bad because anywhere has to be better than where I'm staying now. But I know it's going to cause some issues with my dad because he ruined his entire relationship with his family to be able to bring me home so I wouldn't have to go into foster care, and it's going to seem incredibly ungrateful. I know my dad is trying, he really is, but I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to keep living in his house until I turn 18. How do I broach this subject with him? Is trying to move out even worth it at this point, or should I just toughen up and deal with it for the next year and a half? You're living in a hostile environment. With time, that will really affect your health negatively. You've been offered a safe space to live. Don't walk, but run in that direction. Your dad is an adult. Let him deal with all of the negative consequences. Put yourself first. I'm really sorry about the loss of your mother. Honestly, I feel like it probably already is. I'm so tired all the time but can't sleep and somehow still can't get out of bed in the morning. I feel like I haven't even gotten a chance to breathe or process the fact that my mom's dead because there's been so much change so quick. Which is also kind of why I don't want to have to move houses again. I'm so sorry. Your father's wife and your half-siblings have a lot of misplaced anger. Do they treat your father the same way they've been treating you? Although in relation to the advice you're seeking, that's neither here nor there. I would definitely take your dad's friends up on the offer. Even if it's just for a short while, you need to get out of that toxic situation. You also need to have a frank talk with your dad. Is he backing you up in these situations, or does he stand by and let them treat you like that? You're going through a rough time and it must be terrible to feel like no one is there to support you. There was definitely a lot of tension between my dad A and S, but that seems to have been mostly gone away after the first couple months. M seems still pissed at him, but it kind of feels like they just turned all that anger on me. I've tried talking to my dad about it, at least a little, but there aren't a lot of times where it's just the two of us and I don't feel comfortable saying anything in front of anyone else. Nobody really does anything to me in front of my dad except the language thing, which he does try and stop every time he catches it. But M and S usually just do things behind his back to hurt me, and I think my dad doesn't want to believe that his wife and kids are capable of treating me like that. What an awful situation. I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. As a mother myself, I want nothing more than to take you in and give you the longest hug ever. If I were your mom, I'd tell you to go where you're safest. Your dad's household is not safe and is actively damaging your mental and physical health. I get that your father is doing his best, and it's kind of an impossible position. He's trying to placate everyone. But here's the thing. As your parent, his priority should be your health and safety, even if it means you're living under a different roof. Now, I don't know this other couple, but the fact that they were willing to house a strange teenager with a troubled family history puts them in a very positive light in my eyes. They didn't have to do that. Most people wouldn't, but they did. You have the option of going back where you'd be safe. Please prioritize yourself. That being said, I don't know the best way of going about it. One commenter mentioned going for a weekend, then a bit more frequently to ease the transition. I like this idea, but I worry about your stepmom retaliating somehow. It sounds like anything she can do to make you suffer, she will. Maybe she'll impose on your dad to forbid you from going over there because she'd rather you be miserable. On the other hand, she may be overjoyed to finally be rid of you. I suggest you make a plan. One option is to try the ease transition route, but be prepared to 100% move out at the first sign of things going awry. Another option is to straight up move out. Talk to your dad first. If he can't make time for one-on-one time with his kid, then screw it. Leave. You will have your answer. That's nice he kept you out of the foster system, but don't mistake him doing the bare minimum as something you need to repay. You don't owe him a damn thing. Take care of yourself first. Honestly, when I read this comment, I had to go sit outside and cry for a little bit because just the thought of getting a hug from my mom was enough to set me off. I really needed that, thank you. My dad's best friend and his husband are really nice from the times we've interacted, and honestly are the ones who put all the blame on my dad for actually having the affair and then keeping me a secret until it had to come out. They know none of this is my fault, and I think they're just trying to figure out a way to help me, and I really don't feel like I deserve it considering how little they know me. I'll try and figure out how to get my dad alone this weekend because I don't know how much more of this I can take. It's been about a week since I talked to my dad, and I've had a couple of people message me about an update, so I figured I'd give one. For all those who didn't see my original post, I, 16 male, had to move in with my dad, 47 male, and his family after my mom died, and things have been extremely strained. The worst incidences being my half-brother ripping pictures of my mom up and my dad's wife leaving me locked out of the house. So I was given the offer to move out by my dad's friend and his husband, both 30 male. I followed a couple people's suggestion and texted my dad's friend that I wanted to leave, and they ended up suggesting we all go out to lunch. I think they both could tell how nervous I was around my dad, and my dad's friend Jay ended up being the one to bring up the idea of me moving out. My dad seemed completely blindsided by it and asked why I wanted to move out. Jay and his husband B reminded him about everything that's been going on at home, and I just kind of sat there. My dad seemed really upset, and it made me feel terrible because I already feel guilty about leaving. But then he just asked if I really wanted to go, and I said yes, and he immediately agreed. It kind of hit me that I wanted him to try and fight for me, to say sorry for everything that he's been letting happen, and for my dad to try and keep me at home, but he just let go of me like it was nothing. It's been hard after my mom died, and my dad's the only family I've got left, so it didn't really make me feel any better about leaving, even though I don't have to deal with my dad's family anymore. B took me back to their apartment while Jay went with my dad to get my stuff from the house, and they set up their extra room for me already. He apologized that they hadn't been able to do this sooner and that they hoped I would like living with them. Jay came back with all my things, and they kinda gave me time to decompress. I ended up sleeping for almost 16 hours because I was so exhausted. Over the last week, they've been really nice about making me feel at home and have talked to me about getting me into therapy to deal with losing my mom and everything that happened at my dad's house. They're also trying to figure out how to move me into a different school so I don't have to deal with my half-sister, and everyone knows that my half-brother. It's the first time in months that I feel like I can actually breathe, and I don't feel like I'm constantly on guard. My dad hasn't texted me much or reached out in the last week, so I don't know what's going to happen with him, but for now, I'm safe, I guess. So that's what happened so far. Thanks to everyone that gave me advice and wished me well. It's been really hard lately and it made me feel less alone. I'm so happy that you're happy, original poster, but I think you made a mistake in your post. You wrote, "It's been hard after my mom died and my dad's the only family I've got left. Some random people just gave you a home. Someone who basically didn't really know you but offered a spare room to you and that they'll take care of you. They're organizing school stuff, they're there for you, they're dealing with your problems. They know when they should speak for you and give you the time you need. You have at least 2 more family members, original poster. You just got adopted. Maybe not legally, but people just adopted you in their lives. You're not alone. It sounds like you're in a good situation after being in a very bad one. It was good you moved out as your dad was not likely to change his wife and children. Definitely go to therapy. You went through a lot and it sounds like J and B are good people. Maybe they have a little experience with tough family situations and can be there to help you. You can definitely now rest and then be able to get back up in a situation that allows you to focus on your best future. I'm sorry your dad didn't work out, but after some time, you will be 1,000 times better off than if you stayed at home. His family was abusive to you when you aren't even the problem, just a consequence of your dad's actions. However, you are your own whole human being and deserve happiness. His wife should know that. His wife shouldn't have been a bad person and treated you poorly and thereby teaching her children to treat you badly because of her own unhappiness with your father. Your dad likely let you go because he knew he can't keep you safe from his chosen family and past choices. He should know that you don't deserve to live in that environment because of him. Hopefully, he will send you money even if he can't face you out of shame he has against himself. You're just a person. Rest up, heal, and go on doing personal things. Internet hugs and head pats. Next story. My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years and lived together for 3. I'm 22 and he's 23. Boyfriend is not a heavy drinker. He will buy a mixed drink at a restaurant or have a few beers with friends, but not regularly. A couple days ago, I only saw him black out once when we were 18. Well, his closest friend who graduated last year came to town. He and a few others picked up boyfriend. They all got drunk at his Airbnb and hit up a few bars. He came home absolutely blackout drunk. Despite having a key, I kept knocking and calling my phone. I opened the door to see him and his friend there. It's like he didn't see or hear us and kept calling me and mumbling. Why the hell won't she answer over and over? We finally get him inside after like 10 minutes and he sits on the couch. His friend puts his hand on his shoulder and asks if he's all right. Boyfriend threatens to beat him up twice. I'm shocked. I asked the friend how his wife and daughter are and he was shocked. I knew he had a family, so I'm aware he was blackout drunk too. He got all excited and started showing me pics of his kids. His wife shows up a few minutes later. She was the designated driver and you can tell she was sick of their crap. We catch up and they leave. I'd ordered food and asked boyfriend he wanted me to warm it up or put it in the fridge for him. He looks at me and says, "Of course, your fat behind is talking about food. All your fat behind does is eat." I said, "Dude, what the hell? I was just asking." He then goes in a full-on rant, telling me he hates me. I'm a screw-up since I'm in my 5th of college. My job is useless. I work at a restaurant and I'm probably going to be stuck there forever. That being promoted to assistant manager is not an accomplishment and my standards are low. Says my nose piercing screws up what is left of my good looks, and if I ever thought he would marry a fat witch like me, I'm a real dumb person. He told me to wait till we graduate in May. He will be out of here on my behind. He stopped after our cat jumped on the couch and he pushed her behind, prompting me to yell, grab her, and lock ourselves in the bedroom. I texted him everything he said and did and just cried myself to sleep. Woke up a few hours later to him throwing up and sounding miserable. I will admit I was happy he was throwing up and did not check on him. The next morning, I woke up to him knocking on the door, asking how he got home last night. I yelled, "Check your texts." He did and started crying hysterically, saying he remembers none of this and has no idea why he would say that. He kept begging me to open the door and apologizing. He says this isn't what he feels at all. He told me to look in a specific box in our closet. That should be a sign he never meant any of it. There are 2 rings. My mom's heirloom and another. A stone was missing from it. My mom's, and it was on the other ring. My mom wanted each of her girls to get a diamond, so this was clearly discussed and planned and stuff, as don't even live in the same city as her. It's been a few days and I'm hurt, confused, and just really sad. Like, yes, I gained weight. We had started working out together a few weeks ago. He has never called me fat or ugly before. He said he loved my nose piercing. I used to wear a fake one and he encouraged me to get them. When I got promoted, he made it a big deal and told me he was proud. He got me flowers, new earrings, and took me out. When I said it wasn't a big deal, he kept telling me it was. He also will be in school for 5 years. I'm just a semester longer. He is mostly respecting my wishes and sleeping on the couch and not touching me. He keeps apologizing and offers to take over 100% of the bills so I can save to leave him if I want. Open enrollment for my job's insurance isn't till November. That's when I can increase my coverage to include therapy. So counseling isn't an option until then, as his insurance doesn't cover it. If he said all that blackout and unprovoked, that means something, right? Any advice? The only positive thing is his friend has no memory either, so his boyfriend threatened him. I feel sad and uncomfortable. I feel lost. He basically has been crying himself to sleep to end. A part of me wants to comfort him and the other part is just really angry and distraught. Blackout does not equal truth. It stunts your emotions and processing. What he said was hurtful and there may be some small measures of truth, maybe the weight gain. I disagree with what I've seen others say that he's trying to give you the option to leave as guilty of something. Sometimes when people hurt those they care about, they overextend the apology, etc. I would say that no long-term relationship is perfect, and I could probably state that people are human and you both may take verbal swings at each other, but how you handle it is what matters. If he's willing to maybe not drink and you're willing to get down to what really bothered you, are you unhappy with your weight, etc., and work on it together, etc. Yeah, Reddit has this idea that alcohol is truth serum or something, but I have absolutely said stupid crap while drunk that I didn't mean and wasn't my secret inner thoughts. I think a lot of people have, which does not mean original poster has to put up with this. That would be insanely hurtful and I don't know if I could ever get over it. But the idea that it has to be the truth because he said it when he's drunk does not track with my experience. Honestly, this is a tough one. Like, true blackout drunk people are so gone, their brains are basically drowning. I don't know that I take 100% of what came out of the heart, but to be fair, he could be partially feeling some of those things. At a minimum, I would suggest if you want to stay, he should give up drinking full stop. Both, so it doesn't happen again, and an act of good faith of the gravity of his words. How do you feel being in the house with him now? I'm so sorry that happened. Here's the thing. Commenters are saying his being drunk means he was being honest, but that is only partially true. It's our choices that determine our character, right? His sober mind chooses you. Only when alcohol stripped him of his ability to choose did that ugly part show. That ugly part is there and will be, and I'm glad you saw it before you were married, and he needs to quit drinking for good. But I think a man who chooses consistently to be patient and kind and nonviolent and respects your wishes is worth giving a second chance.